Now I'd like to share a few words from Ken's son, Steve. He and I were talking on Saturday, and then Sunday, late Sunday, he shared with me that since his dad had died on Saturday, he had been thinking of some words to a song, and he's allowing me to share this message with you. The words are, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone." Steve said, throughout my life there have been times when other people have said to me, "You have a great dad," and Steve said he'd say, "Yep, thanks," and he'd agree. And he said, "But now I realize even more how great he was to me and to others." And he said, "You know, those words in the song are really true. You don't always realize what you have until you're gone." And so what he wanted to do was to encourage you to spend time with the ones you love and to ask you to let them know that you love them. He also wanted me to thank you for coming here tonight and spending time with the family to remember his dad. Thank you, Steve. I got another letter from my older brother, Gary. Gary and Ken were about 2 years apart, and Gary tried to come. He's a physician in the Pacific Northwest, and he tried to reschedule some surgeries, and there was one in particular he couldn't reschedule, and he said, he called Joanne and I last night and said, "I think I'm going to make it. I think I can get a doc to do this." And he said, I got off the phone and he looked around his office and he heard Ken's voice saying, "Brownie." I thought Ken just called me Brownie, but now I know he called my older brothers that too. He said, "Stay there and do this surgery." And so he is there. He said, "I'll miss being there today. All of you are in my heart." Ken was my older brother. I always looked up to him while in school. Letting some kids know that he was my cousin got me out of some unwanted fights. He was a good athlete and hockey player, and that was next to godliness to a junior high kid. Thoughts come back in waves. Thanksgivings and Christmases together, eating left-hand cookies, remembering the look in his eyes when he was dating Joanne. The sound of a slap shot, crack, what a shot he had. I remember listening to a game played in Chicago where he went as a kid and hearing the name Mellum on the radio and feeling so proud. When I went into his room in grade school, I remember seeing quotes of famous people under the glass on his desk, and also those whose names I didn't recognize. The sayings were inspirational. They were on his dresser, on the wall, on his desk. I started to collect quotes also, and do to this day. I remember him driving his old faded red Beetle to UND in his Central Letterman's jacket. Then we left Grand Forks, but only physically. We would see each other in trips back home and shared concern of our parents, shared love of family. His trip out to Washington last year was a gift. We spent time looking back, reaffirming our blessings of coming from a good family, a great community, and the blessings of a wonderful education. The commitment of giving back. We shared the love we had for our families and each other. Thanks, Ken, for that. Thanks for being a blessing to us. Now a quote. For whom the bell tolls. No man is an island, entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manner of thine own or of thine friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore sin not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Love, Gary. I got a call this morning from Deanna Carlson Zink from UND Foundation. She and Tim O'Keefe and Dean Albert will be here tomorrow morning. They asked that I share a message with all of you tonight. Ken was a highly respected and valued member of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation Board of Directors. He was held in very high regard by both his peer members and all of us as management and staff. If there's one word I think we'd all choose to describe Ken, it would be passionate. Okay, maybe intense, but qualify too. But in any event, we knew when Ken was coming to Grand Forks to talk about China and teaching the annual spring break in Washington, D.C. trip, J.R. Kirkland, that he organized for the master's students interested in employment and government and related industries, we had better have prepared thoroughly and be ready to match his energy and passion for students. Way too often, philanthropy is often only seen as a pursuit of treasure for purpose. We would define such in much broader terms to include those who are also willing to share of their considerable time and talent. In that regard, in our world, Ken Mellon was a giant, perhaps providing the most significant impact to students at the University of North Dakota of anyone in our 126-year history. His passion for students in the College of Business and Public Administration, and most recently especially those from China, who were fortunate enough to engage with Ken through his teachings in Shanghai, was unparalleled. The earth not only moved at our university last Saturday, it was felt by many in China, who are mourning as well. On behalf of our board of directors, our management and staff of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation, we salute Ken's memory and stand in appreciation for all he meant to our work, our mission, supporting students at UND. Joanne, family, and friends, our deepest condolences in your loss. Our thoughts and prayers are with you all. So that's some of Ken's legacy for us. This last Christmas, I was talking to Ken about the Jewish community at the time of Jesus' birth, expecting a Messiah to come who would be powerful and strong, and instead came as a baby, vulnerable, wanting love and growing to love us. I talked to him about that change of perception that people had to grasp, and Ken had shared a story with me about change a few months prior to that. I asked him to email that to me, and so this is out of an email Ken sent me. It's an exercise he did in management with younger people. The story is a buzzard looking down at the desert. What does he see? Everything brown, hot, etc. For 15 minutes, a group of managers brainstorm, wondering what they would see if they were this buzzard. They do it until they can't think of anything else. Then they're asked to lay their heads on the table and think about what they had just talked about. Then they're asked to look up and imagine they are the buzzard in a rainforest. And what would they see and how would they survive? Some people give up when asked about what their first impression of the rainforest would be. And I want to say, go back. Start over. Don't have trouble adjusting. Because if you can make those adjustments to change in your life, you will help a lot of other people adjust as well. We have some adjusting to do without Ken in our world. I do. I don't know that it's fully hit me yet. And I sure appreciate the way he's taught me, though, some skills in how to adjust. I appreciate the deep faith that he had that was solid within him and his encouraging way. And again, I thank you all for being here tonight. I'd like to turn this podium over to the rest of you who'd like to come forward and share something. And again, I ask if you would let us know who you are and how you know Ken. And then at the end of our time together, Pastor Scott will lead us in prayer and a benediction. God bless you all. Thank you again.